So we're going to start off with defining what a customer journey is, the introduction there, into the topic as far as what a journey looks like for each of your customers and your businesses. Then we'll talk about mapping the journey, what that looks like and how you can best optimize it. Then we'll talk about identifying key touch points throughout your journey. And then lastly, starting talk about optimizing that journey and how you can make a better customer experience for all of your different customers. And then lastly, we'll do Q&A where we can answer any of your top questions. So what is a customer journey? This can be defined differently and really is unique depending on the kind of business you have, as well as the kind of industry you're in, what you're looking at, and what you're selling. So HubSpot, who is a CRM creator, they define it as the customer journey is the series of interactions a customer has with a brand, product, or business as they become aware of a pain point and make a purchase decision. Whereas Microsoft has a little bit of a different viewpoint. So theirs is a customer journey is the end-to-end experience a customer has with your brand or business. These are very similar, but they also still have some variance there. You can tell that the HubSpot really they start with that awareness phase, with that pain point, becoming aware, and then they also go to the purchase end. So it just goes through that original customer journey there, that starting off with a pain point, becoming aware, and then ultimately making a purchase decision. Microsoft, on the other hand, they're looking at it from being an end-to-end experience. So this could be multiple iterations. We at EXP First kind of take that amalgamation of the two. So we define it as customer journey is the complete experience from awareness of needs all the way to purchase and advocating for the brand. So this kind of makes a mixture of what you're looking at from the HubSpot point of view as well as the Microsoft point of view. So we view the customer journey as this all-encompassing and it covers all business types too. So we're looking at from the customer becoming aware to consideration, then ultimately to purchasing, and then also becoming a loyalty brand advocate or brand ambassador, depending how you look at it. So we're looking at it from the full cycle, not just that one-time purchase, but like the full life cycle of that customer. So then it doesn't matter what kind of business you're in, they all value customer journeys. Whether you're B2B, retail sales, your smartphone app, they all have different customer journeys and they all can be very important. So some recent studies on why these are important. So McKinsey analysis found that companies using customer journey insights saw a 15 to 20% reduction in repeat service visits for those companies that are using like a plumber or those error, like it reduces those errors. So if you're looking at the customer journey, that 15 to 20% reduction in repeat services is really great in the sense that it lowers your costs to do business and it lowers those costs of having to service an item or service a repair. So it really helps increase that bottom line. They also saw that a 10 to 20% boost in cross selling, so the ability to add more sales on, and also a 10 to 25 basis point reduction in churn. So they're keeping customers longer and cross selling them more and having to service them less, all really boosting that profitability. So they aren't alone though. Also, Forbes found that customer centric companies are 60% more profitable than companies that don't focus on customers. So brands with that superior customer service bring in that 5 to 7 times more revenue than their competitors that lag in the customer experience. And this really comes down to that cross selling, that lack of churn, and that lack of needing to constantly service those customers really just impacts that bottom line and really increases your sales and your profitability. So, how do you start improving your customer journey? Well, first step is you got to map the journey. There's 4 key points here. We have your personas, you have touch points in phases, actions and emotions, and then opportunities that we'll look at. So to start off, your personas is really just creating a defined model of what your customer base looks like. Many businesses have multiple buyers or users, so you'll have multiple personas as well. They are slightly different persona values for a B2C company or direct to consumer, and that B2B business that is looking to sell their products to another business. But majority of it is very similar. So we have these two charts here. You can freely download them. Their link is actually in the comments here, as well as the description of the video. So feel free to download that link to download your own persona template there. If you have not done this, we highly suggest it. It's something that is key to every business, and it really can really increase your bottom line and understanding of your customer. Next thing are the processes. So these are the different phases that a customer goes through while purchasing and then becoming that brand advocate. So it starts off with that awareness here, then moves into consideration, purchasing, servicing, and then loyalty. And these 5 steps are really just a step-by-step process that every customer takes. And they're just kind of a generalization of a bucket that help you understand where people are in the certain phase of purchasing when we're looking at touch points. So touch points here are just every interaction point between your business and your customer. They are the true points of influence, and they're really where your business can influence and affect how people view your company, as well as the brand that you're creating. The timeline here, you can see the touch points, also correlates them with the process steps. So you can see, for instance, there's Google Ads here. So we have a Google touch point, which is the first time maybe a customer became aware of your brand. Then they saw it again with a Facebook retargeting ad. And then finally, they saw it on Instagram or going to your website. At this point, though, they searched around the website, gained the information they needed to kind of maybe go back and talk to their boss, or just maybe had to mull it over a little more. And then finally, they left the site, came back later, and then finally purchased the product. So all of these touch points are valuable, and there's some of them are maybe a high dollar value, and other ones are going to be maybe on a higher satisfaction value. So things like here, like when you're looking at the website where they're making that purchase, obviously you're going to have a very high value. We're going to see a lot of ROI from that touch point, whereas something like this email here, letting them know that their product's been shipped or there's going to be shipped, it's being worked on, customized, whatever you're doing. That really can then emphasize the satisfaction aspect. That can really drive home that, hey, this company cares about me. This company cares about my satisfaction, which brings into the emotion aspect. So lumping all three of these key areas here together shows you that the process steps is where with the step-by-step process that they're taking throughout the purchase, the touch points or each interaction in that process. Then the emotions can be what is being brought forward as far as the emotion that they're feeling, maybe the frustration, maybe there's the difficulty that they're having with processing the different aspects of your business. So you can see here, maybe this website interaction the first time was maybe not very good. Maybe they had trouble checking out, and that's why they bounced. Maybe you're having a server issue. Maybe you were your advertisement didn't quite match this Instagram ad, didn't match that landing page, but they were still interested and they came back. And then they were happy though. They've liked liked the website as a whole, liked your product, still came back, bought it. Then the email then again was great. Maybe they really liked that email that you sent out. Then finally, maybe they had some issue. Maybe the shipping got delayed. Maybe there was a shipping issue on your end. Maybe that it was delayed, or maybe it was on the UPS side. Then finally, you followed up with them. You corrected maybe any issue, sent out that follow up email, and then they were definitely a satisfied customer at the very end. Along with this, I like to use trees as a reference. I am a big bonsai lover, and definitely a plant enthusiast. So this picture really resonates with me as far as how a customer journey can flow. So I always call this the touch point tree. So what we have here is we have these high level branches that bring customers inward to the main trunk of the tree, which contains your website, purchases, and then loyalty programs here, which are going to be like the main aspects here. This is what we're really looking for here. We want to have that funnel, that website, the purchases, the loyalty kind of going back upward. Then lower branches are things like such as like your email marketing, your in-store experiences, your things that are more controlled than maybe like your social media platform or like your search engine optimization. You do have influence in them. You do have control. I 100% agree. But they are maybe more influenced by the outside world versus what can be directly controlled, like the in-store experience. You can directly control that. However, this doesn't diminish the value of any of them. And I want to definitely want to reinforce that. I mean, search, I think is probably right here is the top one. It's because it's probably in this case here representing that as the maybe the most important as far as driving traffic. The search engine optimization is really the key for this sales aspect. And then it goes down to maybe email marketing is the next biggest one. So breaking that down from like a strategic standpoint, we had before where we were talking about search as a whole, and now we're going to break it down into like the different aspects of the channels. So we have the Google Ads here, we have SEO, we have influencers, in-store purchasing, TikToks, Instagram, email. All that leads into these different areas, and you can see that it kind of steps down from like a tactic standpoint from a strategy, and then it will actually even break it down to we can look at individual pathways that individuals take for purchasing their products. So we really think that this is really what's going to be based off that strategy that we talked about in the last slide. You're going to base your strategy off of where you want to be targeting people and what fits best for your business. So you might want to look at social. Maybe social doesn't fit for you. Maybe search is really important. Vice versa, maybe in store, maybe you don't have a store. All those different aspects can be changed. And then this tree here will just look different depending on your business. The note path is really the same. Every touch point is going to be different um, for each customer. So every time like you're using an app or you're downloading something or buying a different item, a widget of some sort, you're going to have a different path than somebody else. Even if it's very similar, you're still probably going to have a slightly different path. So what we're looking at here is just kind of like highlighting maybe a path or two when we're looking at the customers and how they're interacting. So maybe they're coming through as Google Ads, but they're also interacting with TikTok, website, purchases, and then they also have customer service. So these could be the different touch points that this person is interacting with. And also here we have the in-store. So they could maybe they repurchased, then in store. So what this can let you do then is understand where to really emphasize, and then understand who in your business, like what this segmentation of that customer, what they are looking at, and what the path is that they are taking. One thing I think is really great for the tree aspect of this is that for a tree you can move in any direction. So there's a lot of times where people will come in store, they'll leave, they'll come back for Google ad, then maybe they'll go to the website, come back and they'll see a TikTok, and then they'll finally purchase. So there's not necessarily like a straight linear pathway here. People take definitely kind of all over the route. You'll see the Google ad, website, TikTok, website, in-store purchase a lot. Those type of things where you kind of have to reinforce the brand image before someone finally purchases. I know for us, we were crumble cookie was a big one for us. We saw ads. My wife was a huge fan. She loved the cookie idea. Then finally they opened one, saw a few more ads, and then we finally got the chance to go to one, so we did. So it's definitely a way to go about understanding that and just looking at what is going to drive that traffic and understand that it can move freely around those different paths. So using this framework as well, we can also speak along the lines of the emotional ties that are driven by the key areas. So for instance, like a TikTok landing page could be great at driving traffic, but maybe the influencer that you hired. Maybe they got a little rogue. Maybe they have sent people somewhere saying that you have X widget and really you do not. So maybe then they're coming into store being upset. So it's causing this section here to come as a frustration point. Whereas the purchase, once people actually get your product, they are loving it. So maybe like that crumble cookie example. Once they get their hands on that cookie, it's amazing. But up until then, that time of that influencer was advertising a s'mores cookie, but you actually do not have that, so people are disappointed. So the next aspect we're going to talk about is just identify the key touch points. So the key touch points really are broken down to 3 steps that we suggest, and you can definitely look at it in different aspects as well. But one thing we always look at is following the money. Touch every touch point, then identify your bottlenecks and choke points. So just like an FBI agent hunting down a mobster, you want to start with following the money. Start where your conversions are, where that conversion point makes or started, and then work your way backwards. So for instance here, you might want to start just this purchase, see where that came from. Where did they go from? They went from purchase to in-store, then maybe they saw from the influencer, but maybe they never went to the website. Maybe they just went web influencer, in-store, purchase. Or maybe they vice versa come from Instagram to the website, Google ads, back down to purchase. So you want to start off with that purchase in mind and then kind of work your way backwards. And you can also look and follow conversion paths. So somebody for with a more complex purchasing pathway. So like I said, Crumble Cookie, for instance, may have that real simple. They made a purchase after in store from seeing it from some influencer. Very simple, very straightforward. Whereas a business that's a B2B business, so maybe even like marketing or a software, a SaaS program. Maybe the purchase then starts off here, but maybe they saw on their website, they saw they got originally looked into a SaaS software they needed, and they saw it through SEO. You came up, and then you retargeted them with Google. Maybe they saw something on Instagram, or you emailed them, and they finally went back to the website and they purchased. So you definitely want to see how that progresses. And with that more advanced and longer tail conversions, you really want to look at the different types of conversions that may be happening. So, for instance, you have that purchase here. So we start off here, purchase. It's exactly what we want all the time. But maybe when they went to the website, they the second time they went, they downloaded an ebook, and then after that, maybe they signed up for your email newsletter. And then after that email is what finally actually converted them on your website to making the purchase. So we can kind of follow that backwards to see that we have the purchase, we have the email sign up, that was another conversion, as well as an ebook download. And then we can follow from there. So we have maybe they came in through Google Ads. So maybe Google Ads can then be pushing for the ebook sign up if there already are not. And that way it's just optimizing your campaigns as well as those touch points and kind of breaking down that barrier to get people to be further down the funnel and closer to purchasing faster. With this, so we also kind of want to talk about like the view to action rate, which I think is something that is a way to measure the effectiveness of a touch point from a conversion perspective. So this is really just kind of like your conversion rate, to be frank with this one. Um, you want to see how many times a person's viewing something or viewing your ad, viewing your um, your store, coming in, looking at different aspects of your store, such as your SEO, whether you're looking at your TikTok videos or looking at your Google ads. Then how many conversions come from that point? Some touch points may have great brand awareness for the cost, while other ones will have a lot of conversions. So make sure you're not throwing out those brand building aspects when you're identifying your key points. So channels like your TikTok for a college may generate views, but boy, maybe they're not converting. Maybe they're not signing up directly from TikTok. But that still adds up. That still matters to that customer and that student. They want to see and interact with your college in a TikTok framework. They don't want to necessarily, maybe they don't want emails. They don't want a bunch of emails from you, even if they are higher converting compared to, say, the TikTok here, where you get 10,000 views but no conversions. But that's all part of that same ecosystem, that same customer journey tree. Then one of the last parts here is the talking about the bottlenecks and choke points. So the bottlenecks, these are really kind of the low scalability areas. You want to make sure that you can actually accomplish when you are looking at areas that you can want to improve on. So customer service is always kind of a big one because it's something that you have to hire. Like you can't just all of a sudden just snap your fingers, get more customer service for the most part, or if you do, they're going to be probably lower quality. So this is definitely something that takes time and effort to really expound upon. So you definitely want to make sure that you're considering these factors when you're looking to scale and looking to improve. Because if you know that customer service required, maybe you have a product that requires an hour, say on average, of customer service per purchase, which is really high. But you increase this purchase rate here, but you don't have the customer service down here to manage that, you're going to get all out of whack, and you're going to end up decreasing the frustration. You're going to increase a frustration point here, which will then kind of work its way back upward, decreasing your revenue and decreasing your ability to really scale long term. Also, looking at choke points. So choke points are areas that maybe like a data breakdown. I think these are, especially in the digital realm, these are definitely areas that need to be improved. So like you have maybe a TikTok here, where TikTok is sending traffic to the website, but maybe you're not sending website traffic back. So you're not really gaining that two-way communication for your ads. So you're not understanding and building upon your customer base. This is really important for those retargeting aspects. So, like if you're like your Google ads, if you're using Google ads for retargeting, or Instagram, Facebook, or that meta area, if you're using them to retarget, you definitely be making sure you're sending data backwards. That way they can continue to optimize and understand what the customers are and who's completing high action values or high action conversions. Let me rephrase that: high value conversions. Speak that backwards. The other one is the other choke point is the points of failure. So these are going to be the high value as far as they cannot go wrong. So if you have an in-store purchase and you are a retailer like a Target or something where they have to come into store, you want to make sure that you cannot have that fail. I mean, if your POS system breaks down, you're done. If you're no customer service representatives or no people to check out people, your store is shut down too. So these are going to be those key points of failure. Same with your e-commerce store. Your website's down, your servers are bad, your user accessibility is really bad. I mean, these things are going to really detriment your purchases down here, ultimately affecting that loyalty level. So how do we optimize the customer journey? So we're looking at three kind of keys here. Really, we're talking about the tools and metrics that you can use to understand the customer journey and what ways you can optimize it. Talk about segmentation, and then also about cross-channel communication. So customer journey tools, really, these are kind of key three areas that we like in this customer journey tools area. Um, Customer journey tools topic. So analytics programs such as like Adobe Analytics or Google Analytics, like GA4, they really kind of help you map in the entry points and exit points of your online journeys. So this can kind of help you understand where people are coming in, what caused them to come there, and then you can even track them throughout those individual journeys, see kind of an average of, this person's going to this page, then they're doing that ebook download, and then they're going to the sign up for emails, and then they finally make that purchase. The other key aspect of the customer journey is the customer surveys. So this can be things like SurveyMonkey or Google Forms or Qualtrics. It can even be like a built-in web survey that you're using from maybe just your form builder. So these are really just using to gauge your customers' personas as well as the efforts and maybe sentiment that they have. So you could ask questions throughout their process of checking out or afterwards, like how was this experience? Was it easy to use? Do you have any suggestions? This is perfect for the Net Promoter Score, which we'll actually get into here shortly. Same with the customer um, effort score as well, which we'll also get into. Lastly, you have CRMs, which would be your HubSpot, Salesforce, Zendesk, those different kinds of softwares that really provide more of an omni-channel approach. So this could be things that are softwares that are melding together your online and in-person experiences all into one encapsulation. So they're really nice in the sense that it takes that full journey approach and then measures it throughout the whole map. So you can see people coming in from Google Ad, and then moving from the Google ad to the email, then from the email they made the purchase, and then maybe they came in store. You can really see that full gamut there with these type of CMS and our customer relationship management softwares. Then four key metrics that we really think help drive a stronger customer experience are really so net promoter score, the customer's effort score, your conversion rate, then your customer lifetime value. The net promoter score, this is probably actually one of my favorite ones. I love this. It's really simple. Been studied a lot. Really, all you're doing is counting. It's like similar to counting cards if you're playing blackjack. And if it's a nine or above, a +1, 7 or 8, it's a zero, and then anything less than seven is a -1. So what that's really gauging is people that are 9 or 10 are how often are they to refer this to or refer your product or service to a friend or family member. It's 9 plus. That's how likely they are to do it. It's fantastic, good. That's exactly where you want to be. If it's 7 or 8, it's okay. That means they may not. Anything lower than a 7, they're probably not going to do it. If you get a 0, they're definitely not doing it. So it's definitely something to look at. If you're not haven't done this yet, I would say highly suggest doing so. Just even doing it once a year at the very minimum for like a small business, and then doing kind of a frequent or ongoing test for more larger companies would definitely be advisable. CES, not the Consumer Electronics Show, but the customer effort score is very similar to the net promoter score, but this focuses on the effort it takes to either use your product or service or complete a transaction. So this is very similar, but you're asking it in three different versions. You can even do like a sliding scale. You can kind of like those doctor things where it's like, are you happy? Are you sad? Like what's your pain level type of scale. So that's what you're looking at here is that you can get the high effort, low effort, and then some effort. I mean, ideally, you should be in this low to some effort for most aspects. High effort should be very rarely, unless you're trying not to have them do that. Um, the low effort and some effort. I mean, if you have some effort, it's not necessarily a bad thing. There's benefits to that as well. But having a little bit of friction in your process can actually build customer engagement and customer loyalty because maybe they see it as being built themselves. If they're using something like um, they're making a customized platform for their emails, maybe they need to upload their logo first. I mean, it has friction. It requires more effort, but once they do, now it becomes theirs. It is now their email system with their logo on it. So that little bit of effort may actually just increase their loyalty over time. The next one is conversion rate. So this is, I mean, very straightforward. Kind of what we mentioned before is the number of conversions by the page views or entrances to your store. What this is really gauging then is just how effective you are at connecting the dots between what your customer is wanting, as well as providing it in the time that they need it and want it as well. Lastly, customer lifetime value. I think this is a really important one, especially once you get down to these segmentations. So you have the different one, two, and three segments here. You can see here what we're just kind of viewing here is the dollar value over time. So we have month 0, which is that initial purchase, 3, 6, 12, and 24. The dollar values up here in the left. What we're just looking at is what did they do? So maybe the first person here, segment number 2, looks like they bought something for $10, then they moved up to 20, then they moved up to 30, then 50, and then they shot up there to 90 by the end of 2 years. So that person is actually more valuable than over time versus this person here in segment 1, which has just bought something once for $20 and then never purchased again. So when you're mapping these different segments of customers, which we're going to get into in a second, you might be good to understand what their value is as well. So when you're making a business decision, you want to understand who do we want to target? Who is our most important customer? These can really matter in making those decisions because you might need, maybe if your cash flow is tight, maybe you need more of these segment number ones, or is it, sorry, segment number threes. Segment number three is the yellow line because you need cash now. Like I do with a JG Wentworth, you need cash now. Whereas the segment number two is actually more profitable over time. So if you have currently a decent amount of cash flow, you're ready to go, you're ready to play a little bit long term here, you can definitely maybe emphasize this segmentation here. Or the other option is seeing what the difference is between these two, which we can look into here next. I'll give you some key tips on how to look at those segmentations and how to differentiate them, and kind of label them and look at them differently than when you map them out. So then just two key areas there to look at. So you can see maybe you can make this segment number three. Maybe they're doing something different than segment number two, or maybe they saw something different. Maybe they're buying something different, and maybe you can try to figure out what you can do to make segment three look more like segment two, but still start off at that $20 rate. So segmentation tips. So really, we're going to kind of dive into the five really key areas, the different segmentations that you can look at. And these are all just good starting points. The first off is demographics. These are your really basic age, education, gender, income, marital status, occupation. So like what job do they have, how old they are, what type of education do they have? Do they have a bachelor's? Do they have a trade degree? Are they licensed in something? Uh, then their gender. Usually, for most businesses, this isn't as important, especially not anymore. Income is also another good one. A lot of times, especially for advertising purposes, though, you can't target certain income brackets. So you're going to have to look at maybe if it's high end, you can target it, but maybe not the other way around. And then marital status as well. Normally, this doesn't play a huge factor, but it could. If you're a real estate agent looking to sell homes in a maybe a 55 plus area, maybe marital status does matter. Maybe those married folks are more likely to purchase in this 55 plus place. So you're definitely going to want to look for the age of 55 plus. They're probably going to be higher educated. They're going to be higher income. Maybe they're going to be married because they have that dual income necessity for this more affluent area. So they're just kind of key aspects to look at. By any means, demographics are not an end all be all. We definitely want to look at more of the action based if we can, which we'll look at here in a second. So psychographics, these are a really what makes up like the mind of a person. So you're looking at their values, their interests, the lifestyle, the personality, attitudes. So what this really is, as far as the values go, I mean, this could be kind of going back to that demographics where you're looking at more of like kind of like what they value as a person. What do they believe in? What is their belief system to some degree? And then looking at their interests. So like I like trees, I like bonsais. So maybe there's something there in your realm. Maybe if you're selling plants of some sort, you can target me from the bonsai side of things. So for like our example here from central Pennsylvania, there's Longwood Gardens has bonsai trees. Emphasizing those would actually draw me in more likely than maybe doing poinsettias or flowers of some sort. So that there'd be a way to target them. Same with lifestyle and personality. Those are just other key aspects. So like some people are more introverted, more extroverted. Maybe they like to go party at night. Some people don't like to go party at night. Same with attitudes. This could also be something like having a more positive attitude, more negative, what their thoughts are on a certain topic. This could all be influenced in your segmentation. Behavioral aspects are going to include those benefits, purchase, the timing that they're making those purchases, how they're using it, and then also loyalty. So the benefits are really going to be focused on the individual level. So it's going to be like, what do I get out of this? What are the benefits for me? Um, Also the purchasing. So this could be like when I'm purchasing it, as far as the timing goes. So maybe for me, I'm an impulse buyer. I go out there, see something on the shelf, and just immediately buy it. Other people, actually, this is more like me, really, is I'm the thinker. I gotta look at it, think about it, process it, and then finally make the purchase. Usage is another one. So that's going to be how you use the product. And so some people are going to have different usages for those. We were actually talking about Jägermeister recently, about how that used to be a medicinal product, not anymore. But that's going to be a usage case there. So some people have the behavioral usage of Jägermeister as a medicinal purpose. Other people have it as a fun time. Those that love licorice. Second to last one is going to be a geographic. This could be you're looking at things like such as country, state, county, community. Really, this one you want to drive down as small as you can or you need. So if you're a local business, you may want to look at the community level or county level because those might be different types of people. So for example, in Pennsylvania, here in central Pennsylvania, like Camp Hill, Harrisburg, Lancaster, and York all kind of have like a different um, viewpoint on things. They have a different aspect, but I mean, we're all very close. We're all within 20 minutes, 30 minutes of each other. But you're definitely getting a different kind of feel from each city, each town there, each community. Same with state and country. I mean, if you're a international company, you definitely know that different countries have different means, different wants. So you're definitely going to adapt to that. Same with states. I mean, there's definitely a big difference between maybe New York City and California. Same with like Idaho and Texas. I mean, you're definitely going to want to look at those geographic areas from that and maybe adapt your marketing and customer journeys based on those states and those geographical areas. Last part is for segmentation. This is going to be more for the B2B side. So those businesses that are targeting other businesses, you're going to look at these aspects here, such as revenue and structure. Employee count is another big one for us, even the kind of customers they have. So if you're looking for a business that maybe targets a certain kind of business, so if they're a direct to consumer, maybe you are looking for customers that fit. Sorry, you're looking for businesses that target certain customers because you know that those customers have the same values as you do, so you can kind of reverse engineer that upward to target that company. Revenue is usually a big one too. Same with industry. As far as for B2B marketing goes, you definitely want to make sure that the people can afford your products. So breaking down your segments of your customers by your revenue or their industry can kind of help you get a clearer picture as to the different customer journeys. Kind of going full channel here. So maybe we're talking about that cross channel. Um, so this is going back to that tree. You have those different aspects, cross channel communication, and really then drive all of those together. So going quickly backwards here. So these segmentations, you can use these to make this tree. Um, so when you're looking at the different areas, you might have the ability for your customers to look at the CRM, or sorry, no, the CRM, visit your website and then go to your CRM, and then go back out via email. So that this can be something that you can use those segmentations to understand where they're coming from and where that their flow is as a whole. Maybe different industries or different um, attitudes or different benefits or personalities are coming through different areas. The more extroverted person is going to come through that social channel here, versus a person that is a little bit more reserved may come through search. They're looking to do it more with a less interaction with a person versus more interaction with a person. Same with like a point of sale system. So transitioning here to the cross-channel side of things. So cross-channel communications, this is another area that you can improve upon. So this is just going to be looking at it from that more strategic level on our touch point tree. So we have the search, social, email, point of sale system, which is your in-store, then website and your CRM here. So the benefits of having a connected journey. So looking back here, I'm sorry, they have the connected journey here. So you have they're all connecting into that website, then ultimately the CRM with the database or the data warehouse. So what this does then is it connects all those different aspects. What we mentioned earlier, where you want to retarget people, this can really emphasize and increase the value that you're going to see as far as your ad spend, as well as the customer journey. So if you can have social that's influencing your email marketing, you'll start seeing customers that are happier. You'll also start seeing a better return on investment. So one example of this I find is that Harbor Freight. I think they're a great example. Same with Target. Target actually got themselves in trouble for years ago. Would be that they would take purchase decisions. So people would make a purchase in store. They would take that data, analyze it, and then they would send out flyers to people, letting them know that they can buy um, things for pregnancy purposes. They can buy diapers, different things like that. And then people got in trouble because they didn't tell other people they were pregnant. So then Target, of course, kind of had to reel that in, and now they do it a little bit more sly, where it's more customized. But there's definitely still kind of a more general feel. Before, when targeting was a little bit more open, people would take that POS data and then they would be very astute in driving home a message instead of being kind of more general and uh, letting it seem more hidden now. We definitely are a little bit more used to the privacy concerns. Another benefit of the cross-channel um, marketing like that, so where you're connecting all those different dots, connecting the data between all your different platforms, is you can really see a clearer journey. So you're going to understand where people are coming from. As we mentioned earlier, like maybe you don't see that where TikTok's going back and forth as far as data. Well, maybe you're not collecting the data from TikTok. Maybe you just know they come in there, but you don't know what video they're watching. You don't know what ad they're seeing. So having that cross-channel connection all from that one singular database and our website can really make a clearer customer journey to understand and reinforce our customer journey tree and to make better decisions forward. Another one for like a retail store is really going to be like the seamless inventory. So I've seen it before where people you see online, it says you have 25 in stock, you go in store and there's none. So having this cross-channel communication between your e-commerce store and your store floor is really important to make sure that inventory is in stock for your customers, as well as for your inventory purposes and purchasing purposes as well. It also can increase your customer retention. So when you're having people that are returning to your store or interested in returning to your store, you can then target them with ads, or target them with emails that are more customized, kind of like that target example, where you can make sure that they're getting the emails that are important to them. You're not wasting their time sending emails that are filled with fluff that's completely irrelevant to them. You're going to send them the right product, at the right time, so they can make another purchase. Or it could also be a service related aspect, which kind of goes into the loyalty a little bit as well. But the customer, maybe that after 6 months, they may have questions about a certain product, or you see on average that during your software um, startup phase, when they're looking into the software and kind of playing around with things, they about 2 weeks in is really where they really start to dive in and they get to the one key aspect that you really want to drive home for them. So you send them an email maybe on, a couple days before week two, so maybe like 12 days in, you send them this email saying, "Hey, check out this feature, look at this feature, see," and then give them a step-by-step explanation, which then reinforces that customer value to your business and also pushes them along that customer journey to keep diving them deeper into your business, as well as your product as well. So loyalty programs is another one. So this can be really, you can measure the effectiveness. This is also great for advertising. If you're still doing that advertising where sending out flyers or coupons and you're giving 20% off something if they come back, just so you can try to measure it. Cross-channel communications will literally help you understand better what is driving that traffic, what is driving your sales. So you can throw out that coupon, just focus on what is working, drive home the awareness, drive home your loyalty, and really increase your customer sales in an effective way that may or may not have to include those coupons then. As you can tell, vary against coupons as far as measurement tracking. Last one then is personalized marketing. So this is really important, especially on the digital marketing side. I mean, a lot of times it's very simple side of things. You can use like your CRM system, like a HubSpot, or um, even any type of really MailChimp, any type of those email services. You see them a lot there where they can just add the first name, add a last name, add the company name, those different types of things. But really, as you get more and more versed in cross-channel benefits, you can really start to see greater personalization. And I think that's really going to be the future of the internet. And the future of marketing is going to be that hyper personalized marketing. We're going to see things that are adapting to our needs, adapting to our wants, all based on what we need and what we want at that time. But we're not going to start seeing things that are just kind of broad strokes. Hey, John, great to see you at X. Here's the why I'm glad I saw you in EXP first. We're going to start seeing higher, more personalized aspects in our marketing. Maybe they're going to talk more to, or let's talk actually, they'll talk more like we would in B2B. But in B2B, I'm not going to talk to you in a sense that we just say, hey, John, great to see you at X event. Glad that we could talk about EXP first. Done. In a B2B setting, when you have that more personalized approach, you're going to talk to me maybe about like bonsai trees. Like, hey, I saw your dog. It's like, I love pit bulls too, blah, blah, blah. We should really connect sometime. We're going to start seeing those type of aspects coming down the pike for at scale. At B2C level, we're going to start seeing people be able to target customers at a level that is more concise, more interest, more values based, instead of having to just kind of broad stroke everybody. Just saying, hey, great to see you, buy our stuff. We're going to start having conversations at scale. And I think that's really where we're going to start seeing the future is personalization, these cross-channel and omni-channel marketing schemes. It's just going to be that benefit of that personalization that drives home your message and drives home the benefits to that exact individual. No longer are going to be those days where we're going to have just, just that broad stroke. We're going to see that hyper personalization that'll really make the difference between one business and another. So in summary, I'm going to wrap things up here. Key summary as far as aspects go for the customer journey, you really want to define your audience and your segments. I was thinking about this morning that audience and segmentation is something that's mentioned, I feel like, in almost every marketing talk. You don't understand your audience, you got to do that now. You want to download that link in the description, fill it out, understand it, do it a couple times, maybe talk to some people, go talk to customers, go talk to people that are working with your customers. If you're a B2B side, maybe go a step down, see what the customers of your customer are thinking about them. And that way you can really get this 360-degree vision of what your audience is and what they understand. And then you can then break down those segments for those customer personas. Next part, just map that journey. See what it looks like. Make your customer journey tree. Understand that where your different aspects are and what is pulling in and what is being the largest aspect as far as conversions. Maybe we'll see what the biggest brand awareness is. I mean, you're definitely going to focus on different aspects depending on your business, where your business life cycle is, and then where your industry is. And there's a whole lot of factors there, but just map that out. Understand where people are coming in. Understand the sentiment that they have. What emotions are you invoking in the different aspects throughout that process? And also, find those key points. The key points that are valid in your business might not be valid in ours, may not be valid in another person. But understanding the key points that matter to you and your customers is really going to separate the ability to optimize your journey for them. Second to last, connect more dots. Never have enough data in my mind. Yeah, you can have too much bad data, but good data, more data points definitely help out in understanding your customer, the customer journey, as well as really just getting that 360 scope, kind of like I mentioned earlier, with that understanding your customer, and understanding maybe even your customer's customer connecting those dots will help you do that. So connect those cross channels, connect, make an omni-channel CRM possible. So get things like HubSpot, Salesforce. You will definitely not regret it. I can guarantee that. Then lastly, just keep testing and learning. Marketing, it's business, it's life. Keep on going, keep testing, keep learning, and keep moving forward. Glad you spent the time to learn about the customer journey with me. Please, if you have any questions, please reach out to us. Gladly answer anything. If you think of something, email me, comment below. Definitely always get back to everybody. I really appreciate you taking the time to listen. And hopefully you picked out at least a couple, touch points or points of interest that you can work on with your business. Otherwise, thank you very much, and I really appreciate it. And we'll open it up to Q&A. Thank you.